Hi everybody, welcome to this video. Today we're gonna talk about how to loosen your drawings. So usually when we are starting out as artists, our drawings tend to be very stiff and like we hold the pencil too hard and the drawings are very stiff overall. And we need to learn how to loosen the drawing and loosen our hand a little bit more so our drawings are more like it flows better, it feels like has more confidence, and it just looks more mature. You can usually notice when an artist is a beginner artist by their line work. You can kind of see that their drawings are more stiff and they're not very comfortable drawing yet. So it is not a problem, but it will probably make your drawings look more mature and more confident and a little bit better. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a few exercises to loosen your hand. And the first thing that we're gonna do is, instead of holding your pencil right where you usually hold, where you can put pressure and be precise, we are going to hold our pencil at the very end of it. So like if you have a color erase, for example, or a pencil with an eraser in the back, then you grab your pencil closer to the eraser, if that makes sense. So instead of drawing like this, you will be drawing like this, because it's right, I'm holding the pencil in the back of my pencil, so everything is a lot looser because I can't really control everything that I'm doing. I need to kind of let go. And this is pretty much like one way of loosening up your hand. And this is an exercise. It's not like you're gonna do it once and it's gonna look perfect and there you go, now you learned and you don't need to do that again. But it's an exercise that you can do it sometimes, from time to time, so you can learn how to have less control over your drawing, because we're always like wanting to have more and more control, but sometimes we just need to just let things go a little bit and get out of our heads. This is one way we can do it. And when I say get out of our heads, is like, I understand that it seems like a lot easier said than done, because like I know that personally, when somebody tell me to not think and clear my mind or something, I get mad because you don't know what happens inside my head. You don't know how hard it is for me to not think or have a more subtle activity inside my head. That doesn't happen. My head is very overactive, let's say, and I'm constantly judging what I'm doing, and I'm always judging what I'm doing, constantly. So I understand that it doesn't seem very tangible. It feels like it's a little abstract. Like, how can you stop thinking? How can you stop judging what you're doing and just letting your hand do whatever it wants to do. But I'm trying, well, to try is to fail, but let's rephrase this. I am doing my best to make this a little bit more tangible and like concrete in some way for you to understand, but it's not the same for everybody. Like, how can you know, because everybody's mind is different. So like I said, mind is overactive, and maybe for you to, stop analyzing everything you do is a lot easier than for me. But when you do it, and when you draw this way that you allow your hand to be more free, it just, you are already accepting that what will come up is not going to be beautiful. And that's, already a step in the right direction right here when we want to loosen our hand and loosen our drawings. And as you do that, and grabbing your hand right at the end of it, you can start coming back to where you're more comfortable holding it, but slowly. So what you can do is, like, I'm gonna do the overall character. For example, let's say it's a character. I'm gonna do like the overall idea of a character in that it's holding the end of my pencil. And let's say it's just like this lady right here. And, this is an idea, and that's very loose, right? And then I start to get closer to where I'm actually comfortable and have more control in my pencil. So I'm like in the middle of my pencil now. And you can kind of start kind of polishing things. But make sure you don't polish it too much. Just to, define the things that you like about it. Like, I would never make this nose like this if I were holding the pencil differently. Also, this chin, like, being very small, I wouldn't think of that. Also, I wouldn't think about those big earrings, but it kind of came up, I just allow them to happen, and I like them. And as you go through passes and passes and passes, like, you can finish it up with like a more controlled grip on your pencil, but still remember to keep the essence kind of this loose sketch. I'm doing things like very quickly and not giving it a lot of thoughts and attention, so it does not look good, but that's the point, right? It's supposed to get us out of our heads. All right. So the second way we can listen, well, the second exercise we can do to listen our drawings is to use your less dominant hand. I mean, your non-dominant hand. I don't understand why some people say less dominant hand because like people usually have two hands and one works and the other is like very dumb usually. But anyway, if you only have one hand, so ignore this step. But if your hands are like mine and you have one smart hand and one very dumb hand, use your dumb hand. And that is, that kind of breaks your brain in a sense that your mind won't know what to do. Like, what the hell are you doing? This is not how we draw. And you have to focus so much on making anything that you can't really, even think that much. So I'm trying here to do something. Most of the times the drawings come out in a very different style than you used to do things. And this is a very loose sketch that I think I would do, but in a very different style. This looks very different from what I would do if I was using my good hand. But this exercise not only I cannot talk and draw at the same time. This exercise not only loosen up your hand, of course you're using your other hand, so it's already loose because you don't have that coordination, you don't have that grip, you don't have that control. But what happens is that you start seeing your drawings in a different aesthetic, let's say, because of the lines are like all kind of crooked and like shaky. You start seeing the drawings as they can be, and you take away the addictions you have and the habits your good hand has, and you take that element and you just see what it is, a very loose drawing. This is, like I said, an exercise, not a fix all. It's not gonna save you from drawing stiff, but it can help you building that mentality and help you like to see how your drawings could be looking like, and maybe find things that you like, find elements that you like. I do love those very loose and kind of shaky lines that I would never do before. So you start discovering things that you can implement, and when you're going to implement when in your right hand, it's another exercise on its own because of the addictions you have and the habits your good hand had picked up in the past and still keeps doing it. So yeah, that's a good exercise. Another way to draw very loosely is to draw big. So when you draw big, you have to use more than just your fingers and your wrists. You have to use like your elbow and your shoulder. So if you have space in your house, if you have like a big drawing tablet or something, you can do big drawings. Like you can consciously focus on drawing with your elbow and your shoulder. So that means that it's hard to explain, but that means that you won't be drawing like this with your wrists. Oops, it's one wrist. But you're going to let your whole arm flow with the drawing, and your wrist is actually going to be very stiff. Not stiff, but like in place. It's not going to move a lot. So you just let your arm do the work, and you don't have to think too much. This is another one that is just an exercise. And what I love about these exercises is that they accidentally show me some very great design elements that I never thought of using. So just let your hand do the work, let your elbows do the, turns, and let your shoulders. This is more like an animator, like a 2D animator draws, because it needs to be very loose in animation. So you kind of can pick that up, and it looks a lot more confident in a way, and free than using your wrist. And you know what? Something that I've always done that really helps me, actually does not help me at all, is to draw small. I have the tendency to draw very small, and drawing small does exactly the opposite of this exercise, because you use a lot of your wrist, you use your finger, movement, and it ends up looking very stiff. So this is a small drawing, wrist drawing, and this is a elbow and shoulder. Drawing. So for today, these are my 3 tips, and I hope you get to test those things out and see how you feel. Just remember that you don't have to follow anything that I say if it doesn't resonate with you. Just keep doing your thing. So a loose drawing doesn't necessarily look better than a more structured drawing, but a structured drawing doesn't necessarily have to look stiff as well. So you can do a structured, very, finished, cleaned up drawing, and it does not have to look stiff. So working on these tips that I gave you today might help. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what are your impressions on these exercises, and let me know if they helped you. And please give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Beijo.